All right. I feel silly talking to myself. I started a podcast, and it's audio only right now. But I thought to raise awareness, I would put the first episode on my YouTube channel. So here you go. Meow.
I've been doing comedy for like 14 years. I think it would be easier with like fans. I think that would help my career. About 6 months ago, I started this email list. If you join the email list, I'll only email you if I headline in Louisville or whatever city you want. But I'll only email you if I headline in Louisville or I put out a special. Those are on your table if you want to fill it out. And if you don't want to do the email thing, no pressure. Just allow me to fade from your memory.
Hey, thanks for tuning in. I'm Brad Wenzel. This is my podcast, Moment of Wenz. It's a podcast about my mailing list, and every episode I'm going to be updating you about the state of the mailing list. I'm gonna answer some questions sent to me by other comedians, and then at the end we're gonna do a little stand-up clip, and that'll be the show. But I'm not alone. I'm not alone in this. I'm joined by my producer on this episode of the show, Comedy's own Blain Hill.
Hey, Brad. Thanks for having me. Hit record on this computer.
Thanks, man. I know it's kind of like you're behind the board.
Yeah,
you know?
the board, yeah.
a 2010 MacBook.
It's not bad. It still works.
Yeah.
The stopwatch on this is still hitting, so.
It's ticking away.
Yeah, right.
So as long as this file saves, we're in business. Blain, how do you think the show's going so far?
I think it's great. I mean, we sound good.
I do think we sound good. We put on headphones for this, which I was on the fence about.
Yeah.
And now that we're in it, I'm like, it feels right.
Yeah,
it feels
pros.
Like we're broadcasting.
We're pros. Yeah, we're speaking English. Like that's not always that works.
Right. I'm so nervous. Because I'm not a broadcaster, and I never claimed to be. And then this has been put on me as a comedian
that you have to be a broadcaster.
To be able to broadcast.
Yeah.
I have no business doing this. So we're going to keep it tight.
All right.
We're going to keep the show, I don't know, 15 minutes feels like plenty.
It's the perfect length of comedy.
Our mission is, can this show be more entertaining than people folding laundry in silence?
Wow.
Can they opt for this over silence?
Shooting for the moon on this one, then.
Yeah. But really, if you're tuning into this, you're a part of an ongoing grassroots movement to get people informed about my stand-up comedy and to enjoy that. And I got a special on YouTube if you want to check that out.
Grassroots movement is also a dispensary I drove past on the way here. I think.
Yeah, there's about 15 in the vicinity of my house. All right, where are we at? Oh, all right, here we go. I got to update the state of the mailing list. We're at 947 members. That's how many human people want me to continue doing stand-up comedy and are interested in that.
No non-human people in that one.
Not to my knowledge.
Yeah.
And so if you wanna join, we're trying to make this number go up every week. That's the show, So we had a big pickup. This is about a week and a half ago now. I've been out of commission because I've been sick, but I did a show in Toledo at Bent Custom Neon. It's a Dave Crumbly production, and had a fun set. And I was if I do like 10 minutes or more, I'll get the clipboard going. And so I was like, I had a good set, so I plugged the clipboard. We get 13.
Wow.
13 people from like a 40-person show.
That's pretty good.
Not
like,
bad.
Yeah. I mean,
that's what I'm saying.
Talking percentages, right?
Everybody's going viral but me, and I'm out here in the streets with a clipboard, and then now we have a show.
Well, I think you just don't go on a lot of like anti-woke tirades. I think that's your problem. That's why you're not getting them going viral.
Yeah. I'm like a laughter comedian.
You're one of those.
Yeah, and I'm
yawn
going the way of the dinosaur, baby.
Is that the largest number what's the biggest number you've got from like one show?
No, I've definitely got more than that, but it was that sounded braggadocious, but I'm a egomaniac out here. I just on the pod I just go off. We're 3 minutes into the first.
Brad's wearing his own merch right now. Yeah.
You know how I get on the pod, man. No, I think the most I've gotten is like ratio-wise. I think I did some Don't Tells in Columbus where it was like 50 people and I got like 30 people or something to sign up, which is crazy.
Yeah.
Sometimes if I headline, I have like I'll put like cards out on the table, and then I've definitely gotten like probably like 40, 50 from certain like bigger shows,
right?
You know, but. Oh, and then I posted a bunch of road dates online, and I picked up 2 from that. So bringing us to 947.
How do people sign up for the mailing list?
This is why.
This
is what Blain's the best in the biz. Bradcomedy.com. It takes like 30 seconds. Just tell me your city and your email. And if you're one of those people who are like, I hate email, I can text you. I'll do that.
I don't know how you can hate email.
Some people like are very like that's their thing is they're very anti-email, you know?
I feel like it's the easiest communication to ignore.
Right.
And there's no like red receipts, so you don't have to, I'm sorry I didn't see this. It's like, oh no, nobody checks their email all the time.
But I need that direct contact.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
I've been doing this for like the last year. It's cool because I'll do shows in cities and stuff and people will come from it, you know, like even just like a couple tables, and then I'm like, oh shit, this is working. So this is what I do now, and so we're trying to get grow this thing every week. This took more time than I thought it would.
Yeah,
we're so deep into the show now. All right, let's plug some dates real quick. I'm gonna be headline. I don't know if this will be out in time, but I'm headlining the Laughing Tap in Milwaukee this weekend, and then. Also coming up, I got Roanoke, Virginia, Beckley, West Virginia, Lansing, Michigan, Indianapolis, Indiana. That's where that is.
Oh, okay.
Bloomington, Indiana, Chicago, Illinois. All this stuff, if you live in those cities, get on the mailing list.
Get on the mailing list,
This
guys.
is the whole
Don't
thing.
really know how much more we can
Should we get into the first segment?
Let's do it.
This is a segment I like to call the boring report. It's going to make sense.
Okay.
This is where I share just something from my life that I've been getting into. This week, I got a cat shelf for the cat. Huge hit.
So you can put like his books on there? Or?
Don't josh around on the pod. Please don't josh around on the pod. No, it's like a piece of wood with suction cups on it, and you stick it to the window, and then the cat goes bonkers for it. And we've had this cat like 7-8 years, and he's never once embraced anything I've spent money on.
Yeah.
And literally I got a ball that like it rolls itself, like it's like this electronic toy. It's $30, and I was like, this will stimulate his brain so he's happy. And he just could not give a shit. And so I sent it back, and for the exact same price I got this shelf, and he loves it. And so he's been hanging out on that.
It's pretty
like,
good
nonstop.
view from over there.
I think that's what it is. I think he likes all the sunlight, and he's stimulated because he's watching cars go by, and he's watching other cats hang out on the porch and stuff, and he's a little bubble boy and all that. So that's the boring report.
Did you do like comparison shopping for other cat shelves, or were you
I had to find one that fit in our windows.
Yeah.
And that was the only one that would. They're all like these really long, made for people with like sliding doors.
Oh, yeah.
And I got this like 1920s house, and I was like, that's not an option. I can't fit any of this shit on my window. So I eventually I eventually found that guy, and it worked out perfect, you know.
Do you think is that going to be a long-term thing, or do you think he'll get tired of it pretty quick?
I think it's going to be a long-term thing, because the way he's like embraced it so far, it made him like healthier. Like he looks like he aged backwards 3 years, genuinely, in like a week. And so I'm like, I think he just wasn't getting enough sunlight. So
like a plant. Kind of.
It's like a charging station. he goes up there and he lays there for hours, and then he's like happy, you know.
Not bad.
We had to lock this cat away because Blain arrived and said he's allergic.
Yeah, I'm allergic to cats. They get me. I start like itching in my ears, which is like the worst place to itch, like inside of your ear.
That's what happens.
Yeah, and then I kind of get like a little thing in my throat going, and
that I've heard of.
Yeah. But like the inside of my ear, like will start like I'll try to like open my mouth to scratch and itch in my ear.
Weird.
Yeah.
All right, let's keep it moving.
Right. All right.
I know I'm not the producer, but all right. Should we get into these comedian questions?
Sure.
All right. Blain has elected to read the questions, and then we'll.
So these are some questions that comedians have sent you.
Yeah, I put this out on Instagram, and I was like, I need questions, and all comics. These are all from comics, so everybody on here, for the most, everybody on here is a comic I know, and they were nice enough to help the pod along, you know.
All right. So the first question here from Tommy Brennan out of New York City.
Shout out to Tommy Brennan. I'm going to have to shout out everybody who sends a question, right?
Part of the deal.
Thanks,
I think
Tommy.
Me saying the name is also kind of a shout out in itself, right?
Yeah, but I feel like I want to be polite, you know?
That makes sense. His question is, hey, Tommy from New York here. So that's part of the question, I guess. First time, long time. Again, don't know how that's possible.
He's having fun with it.
Yeah. If you had to live on one food item from any comedy club menu in the country, what would it be?
Great question, Tommy. I appreciate you sending that in. I actually have a very strong answer. I've thought about this before. Club Comedy in Seattle, Washington, has hummus.
Wow.
Yeah, hummus and veggies on their menu.
Yeah.
And I get it every no, it's hummus and pita bread.
Okay.
And I get it every time I'm there because it's like the perfect between shows.
Yeah, it's not like too
food.
filling or whatever.
No, you feel good after you eat it, and I'm always like, I had this weird reaction to it where I was like, if this was like my job, like if I did this every day, I could like do a show, eat some hummus. I was like, I could exist like that for so long. And so as soon as I read this earlier, I've screened these, but as soon as I read this, I was like, oh yeah, no doubt, hummus.
Is there? Are you a don't eat before the show guy?
I'll eat before the show. I won't eat I won't go crazy. You know what I mean? I'll eat like a modest. I don't want to feel like stuffed.
Yeah, right.
Before I go on stage,
I try to do a couple hours before a show. Give me some time to digest everything.
I will say the longer I've done comedy, the smaller the windows become. When I was starting out, it was like I couldn't eat after like noon.
Yeah,
and now it's like I have an hour, you know, before I have to be on stage. Yeah, that's fine.
5 more years you'll be eating the second before you get on stage. That's how big you're gonna be.
I like whenever you can eat like something like hummus or like a hummus cup, like those are in a lot of hotels and airports now, or like a banana where you're like I want sustenance, but like, you know, I don't, and then I'll eat like something for real after.
Yeah, you
know?
just need the calories required for you to speak for an hour.
Yeah, I just want to function.
Yeah.
You know? All right, let's. Thank you, Tommy.
Thanks, Tommy.
Home run.
Next question is from Johnny Mockney in Lansing.
What up, Johnny? Shout out to Johnny.
I just realized how good his last name is for a comedian.
Oh, it's incredible.
Mockney.
Johnny Mockney?
Yeah. But Johnny asks, when was the first time you were starstruck by a comedian, if ever?
Hey, Johnny, that's a good question. Thanks for sending that in. Thanks for sending that in by mail. I was actually talking to some another comic about this recently, but when I was a young comic, I did a guest set at Joey's in Livonia for Dan Cummins.
Okay.
And it's funny because he's not like a household name, especially back then. He's like very successful now.
Yeah.
But
I still wouldn't. I mean, no offense to him.
He's like a guy. He's a guy comics,
right?
Though.
Yeah, right.
And but he had like been on late night, and I'd seen like his Comedy Central half hour, and I had his album, and I thought he was funny. I had never seen someone like from TV comedy like in the flesh like that. I remember being very starstruck. Which like now is like funny to me, but like at like 18, it was like very, very exciting.
Have you been starstruck recently at all?
Not recently. I wrote about this because he passed away the other day. But when I met Bob Newhart, that was kind of I was a little starstruck because I didn't think I was gonna meet him. I like didn't think that was gonna. I didn't think I was gonna end up. Like, I hadn't thought that far ahead.
Yeah.
So that once you are actually talking to the guy, you're like, oh, fuck, this is crazy. What am I supposed to do right now? But I wrote this in the thing, but what was funny was I was doing stand-up on Conan. This is where I met him. He was the first guest. And so he had already done his interview. And then I was waiting to go do stand-up, but his whole interview, him and Conan talked about bombing in, like, detail. And so when I met, and they're like, Brad's a comedian, he's going to do stand-up on the show, I was like, I was like, thanks for talking about bombing the whole time. And he laughed, and I was like, fuck yeah.
That's all you got.
I got to laugh out of Bob Newhart.
That's all you need, right?
Know? So that was, but I was starstruck in a sense, because that dude's a legend. But...
Now you kind of realize that's stupid. Like, I mean, Bob Newhart is like kind of different because he's been like doing it forever. But like most of the this is a guy like me.
Yeah, most of the time, it's less now. Most of the time, it's like I've met people who I was a fan of, and they seem a lot more human now. But there was like. That one caught me off guard, and then the other one I was like such a young comic.
Yeah.
But for the most part, I've worked with people who I was a fan of, and I'm like, oh, they're like a normal, they're a normal person.
And then you just big time them. And
I usually slap whatever they have in their hands on the ground.
Yeah, they call that the Wenzel special on the road.
Yeah. They're like, hold on to your Game Boy because it's gonna go flying.
Don't bring your school books here because. Brad's coming.
Well, we ate up so much time, and I think we gotta. They're telling me I gotta wrap it up.
Oh, they are.
Yeah, the network is giving me the go ahead to land this plane. So let's get into the stand up clip. So for context, this is from I was opening for Brian Posehn in Chicago, and it was standing room only. So the whole audience is on their feet, and that's the only time I've done a show like that. And then later on, there's some more antics. But here it is. Here's your moment of Wenz.
This is great. This is stand-up comedy in its purest form. I'm standing. You're standing. We're all pretty much standing. These guys got chairs. I don't know how they pulled it off. I'm going to be honest, there's a stool on stage, and it feels like kind of a power move. I was thinking about this. Sounded like someone dropped a bunch of slinkies in the back. I'm just still thinking about that. I was like, no! His friend's like, I told you not to bring the slinkies. I thought there would be stairs.
All right, that's the show. Thanks for listening to it. BradComedy.com to join the mailing list. That's the whole point of the show, so please do that. I got a special on YouTube, Joke. You can also order that on vinyl at bradcomedy.com. I'll mail you a record. Music by Sunil Sawani. Rate, review, subscribe, all the podcast stuff. And if you follow me on Instagram at Brad Wenzel, I post clips on there, and it helps me impress stupid bookers. All right, thanks.